right now, I think she on that MK Ultra. And sometimes that MK Ultra means ding dong. Hello bugs, hello there bellas. If you have not already done so, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about LaToya Jackson. The side effects were awful. My jaw locked. I couldn't breathe, and paralyzing cramps inched up my body until I felt my heart would stop. One night, I was so certain I was going to die that I lay down in Janet's room and begged her, please just watch me. My sister had a recurrent weight problem, and having learned my lesson about Lasix, I remember telling her repeatedly, Jan, don't worry about how much you weigh. It's not worth this. You're fine the way you are. My mother returned to my bedroom with a bottle in her hand. You know I can't take those. I said to her, you know what will happen. No, really? She replied, as if she hadn't heard me. I have a whole bottle of them. I'm only going to throw them away. Here, she placed several of the small white tablets in my hand. Here, she repeated. But mother, her behavior frightened me. The minute she left the room, closing my door behind her, I phoned Jack. So what is Jack? Captain Saberhold to you now? Knowing my medical history, he told my father right away. When Joseph got home, he stormed into my bedroom and demanded, LaToya, give me those Lasix. Then he marched down the hallway to mother's room and threw the pills on her bed. Kate, did you give her these? He demanded. No, she said innocently. I don't know what you're talking about. Kate, you know damned well what I'm talking about. Did you give her these? He asked again. No. Then where did she get them? I don't have the slightest idea, mother answered. I don't know. Kate, what are you trying to do? You know what will happen if she takes them. Are you trying to kill your own daughter? Is that what you're trying to do? My father called me into the room. In front of mother, he asked me, did she give you those Lasix? Yes, I replied softly. LaToya, mother lied. I gave you those? Mother, you know you did. But LaToya, she said sweetly, I'm just trying to help you. My mother, the actress. With that, I left the room, knowing there was no way to reason with her. How could she do this to me? What was she thinking? Was this how she planned to keep me at home? I was so upset, but I was leaving the day after tomorrow. What would possibly happen in one day? The next day, I was home when I heard Joseph snarl, where is Jack Gordon? The next day, she at home in Havenhurst. She hears her father, where's that Jack Gordon? She don't know what's going on. She just like, what's going on? Joseph go in the room where she is and say, where the food is your manager, Jack Gordon? She like, I don't know where he is. Is he at the office? I don't know. She knew that he was on his way to Havenhurst to talk business with LaToya. So before she can get the opportunity to redirect him away from Havenhurst, he shows up at the front door. She looking at Jack trying to give him the googly eyes like, abort, abort. Jack don't know what's going on. Before you know it, Joseph grabs him, picks him up by his collar and throws him into one of the rooms and threw him in a chair. How a man throws another man in a chair and is okay with that, I don't know. Because LaToya was explaining that Joe was much bigger than Jack. I'm going to tell you like Mick told me. If you want the nigga up off you, reach down and pop a grape. The only way a woman is going to be able to grab me, snatch me up, and throw me around is if I allow her to. And LaToya Jackson is explaining that Jack Gordon's like, oh, Joe, don't hit me, Joe. What are you talking about? She don't know completely what's going on. But Joe is raving at him. Everything that LaToya does, I want to know. Give me that itinerary every day. LaToya in her head like, that's funny. I mean, when he would call you and ask you or tell you, let's talk about LaToya's itinerary, you didn't give a fuck. But now you care? You got Jack Gordon in the chair. Help me. According to LaToya, crying, that's a problem to me. You a grown man. Another grown man is over top of you, overpowering you, and you're crying. That's bitch assness right there. I'm not marrying no man that is that much of a bitch ass to let another man make him cry. Me, as a woman, every man that I looked at, if he could not protect me, there was no way I wanted to be with that man. It's no reason for me to be with that man, because the bottom line with a lot of women is security. Can you protect me from the wilds of the world? Suddenly, I heard muffled shouts, Jack screaming, and mother in a monotone saying, put him down, Joe. Just put him down. Don't do that. What he done was to grab Jack by his collarbone, lift him straight up out of his seat, and then threw him to the floor. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Jack asked, gasping for breath. What did you just say to me? Joseph's furious tone reminded me of the countless nights I listened to him torment my brothers back in Indiana. The door finally opened and I ran in to find him on his knees, doubled over in pain, crying. He pleaded with my parents, please, don't you understand? I'm just trying to help her. That's all I want to do. She wants to succeed. I'm not trying to hurt or harm her. Mother looked at him contemptuously. You're nothing but a big act, she hissed, then turned to her husband. Can't you see he's just putting on a big show for us? Leave him alone, I shouted. This man has bleeding ulcers. He's not a kid. What are you doing to him? Joseph stepped towards me menacingly. Get out of here. Yeah, get your ass out of here, because can't you tell this a bitch-ass nigga? And I don't want you around this bitch-ass nigga. From the hall, I heard mother's voice. Joseph, don't. You're going to kill him. You shouldn't do things like that, Joseph. It was like an animal tamer calming a ferocious beast. And just like that, my father stopped. For years, he'd dominated her. Now it was the other way around. Of course, LaToya, because she the money. She the bag. She got all the money. God. When Jermaine got home late that evening, his girlfriend told him everything. I'm going to go in there and talk to Mother and Joseph. He said angrily, I'm getting so tired of this. They treat everyone like children. It's got to stop. What's wrong with them? Jermaine, just forget it. It's over now, Jack said, trying to calm my older brother. Didn't you hit him back? Jermaine asked. Yeah. Didn't you hit him back? But Jermaine is a Sagittarian. That wouldn't happen to a Sag. Didn't you hit him back? Jermaine asked, still agitated. You should have hit him back. He's your father, and it's his house. Let's just forget about it. The next day, Jack and I left for a Just Say No function. As Jermaine drove us to the airport, he couldn't stop talking about Joseph's unprovoked attack. I can't believe he did this. My brother kept saying he was totally out of line. Today, Jermaine will deny this, and he and the other guys will claim to have hated Jack from the start. But in fact, at one time or another, each remarked to me on what a great job my manager was doing and how they respected his commitment to me. LaToya really thinks every song is about her. Every single song. And if Jack goes to her and says, they're trying to destroy you, they're trying to destroy us, they don't like that I'm doing for your career, they don't want you to be a better person, then she's going to absorb it. Okay? Because every single song is about her. For a sheltered person wanting a crash course in the real world, there's no better classroom than New York City. I spent over a year there recording my fourth album, 1988's You're Gonna Get Rocked, and often performed in Europe, so Manhattan was the ideal location. After moving into Helmsley Palace and then the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, I eventually settled in a spacious apartment at the Trump Park overlooking Central Park. What a radical change from what I was used to in Encino. We never saw drug deals, street fights, homeless people curled up on the sidewalk under grimy blankets. Of course, some of these sights are more common now in Los Angeles, too. Living in Manhattan, where these things are as much a part of daily life as blurring cars, horns, and foul-mouthed taxi drivers, really opened my eyes about many things. I found the city frightening yet fascinating. I took a long time to fall into New York's fast-paced rhythm. I was preparing for my American concert debut at Trump's Castle Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, when Michael came to Manhattan to play Madison Square Garden and to attend the 1988 Grammy ceremony at Radio City Music Hall. My brother, too, had moved out of Havenhurst, not coincidentally, just days after I left. The only thing that held us there, I now see, was each other. Like me, he never formally announced that he was leaving. He just one day left. Yeah, because you don't want to get into it. Just leave. If you make it a show, then it will indeed be a show. And because I feel that LaToya is a dramatic person, she made a lot of situations worse for herself. Grabbing her suitcases, "Mother, I'm leaving, Mother." Girl, Michael brought a sprawling 1,700-acre ranch in Santa Ynez, just north of Santa Barbara, California. 5 years earlier, when we'd shot the video for his and Paul McCartney's Say, but don't leave me in no direction, all alone. I sit home by the phone, waiting for you, baby. There, my brother and I stayed in a guest house. I remember him looking around and saying, "I'm going to buy this place and live here someday." Michael called me from his hotel. I particularly remember this conversation because he blurted out some things that left me speechless. We got on to talking about our parents who'd flown in along with Rebe to see him perform. "I hate Joseph so much," Michael said. "But why, Mike?" You know why, girl. The same reason you hate his ass. "I know you dislike Joseph, but I never heard you say, I hate him or I can't stand him." "I do hate him, LaToya," he replied with uncharacteristic venom. "Let me ask you a question. If Joseph died tomorrow, would you cry?" I didn't want to answer, though. I knew my honest response would be, "No, not at all." "I'll never forget the times he hit Mother," he added, "and I hate him for that." The words echoed in my mind. Hit Mother? Most of my childhood memories were so vivid. Why didn't I remember that? "You're lying," I said. "Joseph may have done a lot of things, but he never hit Mother." "But he did," Michael insisted. "I saw it so many times. But what would make him stop?" I stand corrected. When we first started this book, I was like, no, I don't know how abusive he is, because it didn't seem in American Dream that he hit Catherine. It seemed that, no, I'm not going to be faithful to you, but I do respect you, right? And now at this point, she's saying that there was a time that Joseph put his hands on her and then stopped. She's saying that she doesn't remember it. She contacted other siblings, and the other siblings said, yes, he hit Catherine. Now she's like, I don't recall. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but what made him stop? They say a child can have memories as far back as 2. Okay, I don't know about that. Maybe I would say 6, 7, 8. You can have some memories, not all memories, but if he was abusive to her, what occurrence happened? Like, did he go to treatment? Did they make a deal? Did Catherine and Joe make a deal? Hey, you can cheat as much as you want, but keep your hands off of me. You know, like, what made him stop putting his hands on her? But I'll move forward. While Michael was in New York for his 3 Madison Square Garden shows, my manager met with his manager. Frank Delio had assigned Jack the task of keeping Joseph away from the arena, taking seriously my brother's threats not to perform if he spotted his father in the audience. That's hard to believe.